My dear students, good morning. This is Deepak and today I shall be taking up the chapter Fire and Ice that is written by Robert Frost. I have already explained each and every line from this poem, Fire and Ice. Today I intend to discuss question and answers of this chapter. So, let's start. Question number 1. For Frost, what do fire and ice stand for? The word fire stands for desire. In the poem, it indicates all types of greed and lust. In today's world, mankind's greed is endangering the very existence of the planet Earth. The word ice in the poem indicates hatred and indifference which is as cold as ice. Question number 2. How has Frost brought out the contrasting ideas in the poem? Answer. Desire propels us in hot pursuit of something. Hence, it is compared with fire. Hatred makes us cold towards others' feelings. The coldness of ice can numb our senses. Similarly, the coldness of our hearts can numb our kindness. That is why hatred has been compared with ice. Question number 3. Why does the poet hold with those who favor fire? Answer. The poet takes side with those who believe that the world will be destroyed by fire. Frost connects fire with desire. According to the poet, desire is powerful and would be a quick end. Moreover, the fact that he has had personal experience with desire leads him to first conclude that the world will end in fire. Question number 4. Write the sum and substance of the poem Fire and Ice. Answer. The message that the poet is trying to give is that nothing in this world is eternal. Everything will perish either in fire or ice. We should thus not forget this supreme reality and keep ourselves above all selfish matters. Question number 5. Briefly write about the ideas about how the world will end, or write down the two different views about the end of the world. Answer. The world will end as a direct result of either fire or ice. Some scientists believed that the world would be incinerated from its fiery core, while others were convinced that the coming ice age would destroy all living things on the Earth's surface. Frost introduces a more emotional side, associating desire with fire and hatred with ice. The poem thus does not allow for any other opinion in the black and white debate between fire and ice. Question number 6. Which age-old question does the poem revolves around? Answer. The poem revolves around the age-old question of whether the world will end in fire or in ice. This is similar to another age-old question, whether it would be preferable to freeze to death or burn to death. The poet determines that either option would achieve its purpose sufficiently well. Question number 7. To say that for destruction ice is also great for the poet, what does ice stand for? How is it sufficient to bring destruction? Answer. Ice symbolizes hatred. Hate is as powerful as desire. While desire consumes quickly, hate can occur and linger in people's minds and hearts for years and sometimes even lifelong. Hate consumes the hater perhaps even more than the person or group hatred, and it can ruin their lives. Hate can thus be too destructive and is by itself sufficient to bring destruction. Now I will discuss long answer type questions. Question number 1. The poem Fire and Ice carries with it very deep thematic ideas. Elaborate on these darkest traits of humanity. Answer. Frost presents the two darkest traits of humanity, the capacity to hate and the capacity to be consumed by lust or desire. Of the two, he attributes the greater of the two evils is desire. In giving desire the foremost position with regard to the destruction of the world, Frost is providing a powerful statement on the subject of greed and jealousy, saying that, above all else, desire is the trait of humanity that is most likely to lead to its demise. Desire represents the greatest problem that attributes to the cause of the war. Frost then attributes hatred with the same capacity to do harm. However, he lessens the relative importance of hatred yet still presents it as having the ability to lead to the destruction of the world if it were to happen for a second time. Question number 2. Discuss how extreme behavior can hasten the end of the world with respect to fire and ice. Fire symbolizes desire and ice symbolizes hatred. Desire is a kind of intense love or want that focuses people on getting and possessing and acquiring. Our society is full of people who spend their lives working to get a bigger and better TV, a more stylish car, or a more extravagant house. This kind of desire can lead people to destruction in the form of bankruptcy or even broken relationships. Frost's poem speaks on the issue of greed corrupting people and even society. The power of hate, which is symbolized by ice, is just as great as desire. While desire consumes quickly, hate produces shy yet restrained devastation. For instance, hate is the root cause of racism and war. It can linger in people's minds for lifelong. Moreover, it consumes the hate even more than the person hated. It thus ruins lives. Question number 3. There are many ideas about how the world will end. Do you think the world will end someday? Have you ever thought what would happen if the sun gets so hot that it bursts or grows colder and colder? Answer. There are definitely many ideas about how the world will end. I do believe that the world will end someday or the other because anything that was a beginning will have an end too. This stands true for the world also. If the sun gets so hot that it bursts, the whole of the earth would perish immediately. The reason is no part of the earth can bear the heat of that intensity. On the contrary to it, if the sun grows colder and colder, everything will come to an end, as without sunlight, life will come to an end. Question number 4. What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? How does it help in bringing out the contrasting ideas in the poem? Answer. The rhyme scheme of the poem is AB, AA, B, CB, CB. This rhyme scheme helps in bringing out the contrasting ideas of fire and ice presented in the poem. The poet mentions that both fire and ice are the probable ends of this world. He talks about how fire represents desire and can therefore be a cause of the end of the world. Frost also mentions ice in between to symbolize that the coldness and indifference towards one another will be enough to end the world. In the second stanza, he says that he knows of enough hate in the world to be sure that even destruction through ice would be sufficient to bring about the end of the world. Question number 3. How will the world end? Support your answer with scientific explanation. Answer. According to the scientists, the two reasons for the destruction of the world will be either fiery core or the ice age. Some scientists believed that the world would be incinerated from its fiery core, while some others were convinced that a coming ice age would destroy all the living things on the earth's surface. In other words, either the deep heat or fire under the earth beds would lead to natural calamities like volcano eruptions, earthquakes and tsunamis, which will one day end the world. Likewise, the melting of ice from the snowy mountains due to global warming will shrink the world. As a result, one day the entire world will die of the icy water. Frost thus tries to warn people against the two greatest problems facing humanity and the consequences of human vices with an increased effectiveness. My dear students, I request all of you to listen to this content, and if you have any problem, please convey the same to me in my online classes or in my revision classes. Thank you very much, my dear students.